There we go.
Yeah, I like hearing that.
Hey,
Confirms it for you. This is the alarm you play to hit the record button.
excellent. So it's 6:32, so we can start. First I need to call to order the meeting of the Board of Selectmen for October 8th, 2025. This is a special meeting. It's hybrid, October 8th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. If you join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Approval of the minutes.
Do I make a motion to approve the minutes of September 23rd?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Present to speak, public participation is encouraged, speakers are limited by appropriateness, staying on topic and maintaining decorum. Time may be limited to maintain progress, please request to reserve time during the meeting if you wish to speak to a specific agenda item. I already have you down, Don, for 9C. Anybody online first? Seeing no hands online, anybody in the room? Nobody in the room, we're moving on to correspondence, of which there is none. Tax refunds, oh Lord, please bear with me on this one. So I move that we refund the amount of $39.55 to Linda L. Nichols for why she excessively paid.
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, I can't say aye and sign at the same time. Move that we refund the amount of $115.72 to Nissan Infinity Limited of Sacramento, California for excessive payments.
Second.
Oh, wait a minute. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. It is 8. Please bear with me. I move that we refund the amount of $39.66 to Nissan Infinity of Sacramento, California for a refund of excessive payments.
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. I move that we refund the amount of $466.97 to Crystal and James Reynolds of Blair Road.
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I move that we refund the amount of $498.49 to Crystal Reynolds of Blair Road for excessive payments.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. I guess we're being paid back for not having any last time. I move that we refund the amount of $126.49 to James T. Reynolds of Blair Road for excessive payments.
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. I move that we refund the amount of $27.32 to, forgive my pronunciation, Mattis Linask of Cosgrove Road.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Did I say that was for excessive payment?
Yes, you did.
All right. Fell out of my rhythm there for a second. I move that we refund the amount of $26.15 to Alexander Hunt of River Road in Wellington for excessive payments.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we refund the amount of $159.26 to Alexander Hunt of River Road for excessive payment.
I second.
And you did-
What was that for, though? You usually say for excessive payment.
Yeah, that it was refund of excessive payment. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. That we refund the amount of $24.40. I move that we refund the amount of $24.64 to Alexander Hunt of River Road for excessive payments.
I'll second.
Any, hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
That we refund the amount of $79.82 to Bill and Sherry Raymond of Florence Street, Manchester for excessive payments.
Second.
Hearing, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. So we refund the amount of $9.76 to Lawrence Tangeri and Helen M. Tangeri of Willington Hill Road. For refund of excessive payments.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. I move that we refund the amount of $3,475.04 to Niraj Emir. Is that how you would say it?
Yep, that's how I would say it.
Okay. For refund of excessive
What is
payments,
the address?
Lake Street, Manchester.
For excessive payments.
Yep,
That's all we know.
that's all we know.
Well, I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none? All those in favor? Aye. That's it for those. Public Works report. Always exciting. Public Works, they've continued to do roadside mowing. Weed whacking along the guardrails around town. They re-swept the chip sealed roads, they mowed the sight lines. We've had a number of people complain about sight lines and town roads going out on the state roads. And they just changed the state road rule where we're responsible for the vegetation on the state road if it affects the sight line of the town road. Before, we couldn't do that. They weed whacked along the Boy Scout camp, they, probably it's Boy Scout Hall. Smoothed the soil at the infield at the River Road Park. They did weekly trash pickup at the park, they graded Maheliac Road. They serviced, vehicles by contractor, oil changes, yearly inspections, repairs, they cleaned the garage. They installed a, lock on the storage cabinet upstairs in the men's room. So that, I don't know if people were aware, but a great number of our disposable products were being absconded with out of the restroom, so we had to lock them up. We lost 3/4 of a case of toilet paper.
That's great.
They changed the urinal wall in here, so you no longer get tetanus while you're using the facility.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in there. Thank God.
And they fixed the floor at the main entrance of the building where the tiles were snapping off for some reason. We also have another issue where we're gonna have to look at it.
Front entrance, I didn't know.
Yeah, and all the tiles were gone because they redid that. It just incinerated. Oh, it's out here, out in front of Board of Ed, the tiles have decided to come up. They've, while fighting tooth and nail with our contractor on the windows for the Old Town Hall. They're about 90% complete. They have to do a lot of trim work. And the center window on the front is missing because as they were reinstalling it, they snapped it in half. And they need to start over on that one. The last day of the 2025 schedule for household hazardous waste disposal is Saturday, October 18th from 9 to 2. The transfer station webpage has more details regarding the items that can and cannot be disposed of at the site. And that comes from Troy and Heather. So thank Troy and Heather for their report. First Selectmen status report. I received, I applied for and we received a grant to. When they were initially installing the fiber optic to this building, we couldn't get permission, the town could not get permission to put the fiber optic on the utility poles from center school to the fire department. Apparently CEN, who's the state fiber operator, has now gained that permission and will be running fiber to the town hall sometime in early January. And that will be a huge boost because we lost all our internet access the other day when a forestry truck parked between the microwave transceivers and cut us off. Couldn't write this stuff. Today I met with the ACO regionalization and Capital Region Council of Governments. We've got a grant. And did I put that paperwork in here? I did. It looks like our initial savings in year one will be about $13,400, 18,000 in year two, 14,000 in year three, and about $5,000 a year in year four, and then about $400 a year following that. As part of that contract or agreement, not really a contract. What will happen is the ACOs from
Animal
control officers, I'm sorry. Spend an hour and a half in a meeting, all we did was call them ACO. The ACOs that are currently in Tolland will be supervised by the ACO at Stafford. And the part-timer at Stafford is also the part-timer in Tolland, so she will go from 2 part-time jobs to 1 full-time job. And then, what we would really like to have is 3 ACOs and about 6 part-timers. And right now we have 1 full-timer, 2 part-timers, and a part-timer that's not certified to do anything. So we have issues. And we'll fix that. We also, another part of the agreement is to re-sticker our truck for use by the regional ACOs. And we pay for communications and they pay for the town facilities. And if this goes through and we can keep it going for more than 3 years, we could probably take the $250,000 off of the CIP. Hopefully, we want to make sure that we see if this thing works first. And fortunately, right now, Bill Morrison up in Stafford and I and Brian Foley in Pollen have been getting along exceedingly well. What we've decided to do, there's been a grant submitted to help pay for animal control officers. 75% of their pay the first year, 50% the second year, 25% the third year. And to see how this is going, they're encouraging regionalization. And what we decided today was to suspend until after the election to see who's in office. Make sure that we're not dumping something on future office holders that they can't support, so.
Just refresh my memory, I know that the reason Stafford was chosen was because. That the animal control officer operation falls under the police department. Rather than a fire department or other, isn't that what?
Yeah.
It's a loose connection, but it's.
Yeah, that and their ACO is the only full-timer who's certified.
Okay.
So they'll be the supervisor of animal control officers. And yes, that's another problem is animal control officers in Stafford fall under the police department and animal control officers in Collin fall under the fire department. And here they report directly to the first election.
So. Yeah,
So we're paying the full rate now for communications and we will continue to do so. And I've talked to TN and we will renegotiate the contract so that there was a lot of assumptions made during the first contract negotiation on that, which turned out to be 100% not true. Things like the number of licensed dogs in your town is somehow related to the number of calls you go on. Nothing. Our phone system has been going down every Monday at 1, requiring a reboot of the system.
Every Monday at 1,
Every Monday at 1.
scheduled.
Yeah, and last Monday it was interesting because half the phones went down randomly, the other half still worked.
Robert.
The phone system is also gonna require a very expensive upgrade required by the phone company, so. Last January, I asked our IT people to look into IP phones. And they're finally getting back to me sometime this week, hopefully. And if we have the infrastructure in place, what was holding us up was the school. They want a phone in every classroom. The IT people want hardwired to every classroom doesn't have a hardwired Cat5. Every desk phone in this building does, so it's not a problem for the town, but we've interwoven the two phone systems so closely that it's gonna be a hard transition.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
How many phones don't have Cat5 over?
we don't know, that's something that they're working on as part of this project. The town clerk may be in and out of operation on October 15th, 16th, and 17th. Because she's needs to go to training for certification, as does our assistant town clerk, and she will be out of that's all online, but she has to shut down so she can concentrate on her training. And will be leaving the building in December for additional training. I signed a contract today for 3 new computers for a total cost of $2,867.25. We have 3 computers in the building that are old enough that they cannot be updated. So they create a security risk. I met this morning with Senator Gordon. and, the DOT. There's a large chunk of land between the parking lot at Station 13 and Route 32 that belongs to the state because they straightened the road and kept the land. So we can't move the fire department away from the mountain for drainage without that land because of frontage requirements. So we've been in talks with them for several months, and now it looks like we're moving forward. We received a complaint about Cesar Road. A lot of speeding and the sign, the electronic sign is out, and we've contacted, we have two types of signs, two ownerships of signs in town. We have town-owned signs and state-owned signs. That happens to be a state-owned sign, so they've been notified to come fix it. This coming Monday, the town hall will be closed for Columbus Day or Indigenous Persons Day or whatever day you celebrate on Monday. We're not gonna be here. I'm gonna be celebrating a day off. October 20th starts early voting, so we vote early. Don't vote often, vote once. But our people will be here for early voting. If you can utilize that, please do. In the last primary, it cost us $1,000 per vote. Yay, state. The day I took over as first selectman, I started working on the Everbridge system, which is costing us about $4,300 a year, I believe. We started buying it 4 years ago. It wasn't initiated. And so I started to initiate it. We're almost there. Hopefully sometime early in the next administration, we'll be up and running. The entire back end of the system is now built. If you text the word Willington to 888-777, you get a link. If you follow the link, it will let you sign up for Everbridge. Everbridge there's 5 different levels for Willington residents. So that if you want to know when the bake sales are on, you'll get Everbridge messages for that. If you only care about voting and meetings, you can sign up for just that. There's 4 different boxes that you can check. When you sign up for Everbridge, it also signs you into the state and national system. The only one that can send out a message on the national system without prior approval is whoever's sitting in the president's office, and so he can send out a message to let you know if something bad is happening. I encourage people to sign up for tornado and hurricane warnings, flood warnings, and I believe you also get silver alerts and whatever the other one is. Amber alerts. I knew it was a color, I just couldn't remember which color.
Nothing on other, police emergency things like
If
we
we,
had a few years ago.
right, that's the problem, is the communication between the state police and the town. We are not alone. I just met with the CEOs of Ellington, Summers, Stafford, Towland and Union yesterday. It was our big session about the state police not giving us any information. Particularly if you're paying a lot of money for resident troopers, they are not getting any more information than we're getting. And they're having a meeting on that. The Ellington town manager is a retired police officer, and the Stafford, no, Colin and Ellington town managers are both retired police officers who have used the same software the state police are claiming they won't give them the information. And they know that they will. So hopefully that'll go. I want to discuss with you guys, I'd like to cancel the next Board of Selectmen meeting scheduled for the. Please excuse me while I look this up. The October 20th I will be out of state handling some personal business and, standing in the grass looking for some disco chickens. So I will be putting out is that okay with you?
I don't know, do we'd have a quorum, you and I, Matt.
Yeah, we could have a meeting if we wanted to, if something arose that was necessary for us to meet on, we could meet.
Yeah, there you go.
Is there anything critical that
I don't think that there's anything critical we have to go over.
the tax refund or anything like that?
I think everything can wait for the following meeting, which isn't that far past that.
It's the third.
Yeah, it's the third, the day before the election. We're getting closer to election season. Please, everybody, be kind to each other during election season. And I think that clears it up for first selectman status report. I apologize for taking that much time. Under new business, we were going to handle this Monday, but our assessor cannot meet with us tonight, so I'm gonna give you the first paragraph of this. What page is this? Oh. That was stuck in the middle. Public Act 25-168 was signed into law by Governor Lamont on June 30th, 2025. This memo outlines several sections of the act that provide municipal options for 100% permanently and totally disabled veterans. These options are in addition to the basic exemption under Connecticut General Statute Section 12-81. Subsection 83 for the dwelling of 100% totally and permanently disabled. Permanently disabled veteran? All require a vote of the municipality's legislative body or a municipality where the legislative body is a town meeting by a vote of the Board of Selectmen. And there's all the stuff in here. And so we will be hearing from our assessor at the next regular meeting on this. I think that it's an option, but to me, we're denying a exemption to 100% totally and permanently disabled veteran. I don't have that kind of heartlessness in me, so. That's just my 2 cents.
So this is tabled until next meeting.
This is tabled when this assessor can come and talk to us about it. And there may be parts that stuff that flow from that I don't understand.
We have some, we have like 11 or 12, right?
I think it's fewer than that.
Fewer than that?
Yeah, I thought it was
I was
8.
sort of surprised that there were that many,
Yeah,
because I didn't know that.
it also accounts for widows of KIAs, so. Moving on.
Can
Yeah,
I just mention that abatement, that full abatement for, I believe it's 9 homes in our town, is forecast in the budget.
yes, thank
I
you.
mean, it's.
Yeah, we've
Semen.
taken that into account already.
Yeah, I just wanted to,
It's 9, that was that the number?
I believe it's 9
Okay.
homes.
See, I thought it was 8. I was
Yeah,
close.
well, you were close enough. I said 12.
The way my brain works, I get close.
Are we missing the notification that people might be signing in because of where AI
I
is?
don't think so, because I think you get, it's right here. View,
That's what I was.
yeah. I apologize to Jen and Jeremy, I didn't see the little thing at the top saying that we were waiting in the room.
Well, I'm used to seeing that
Yeah.
screen on the right.
Thank you for pointing that out.
I don't know, no,
You're very
maybe someday I'll learn how to do it.
You're very useful.
16 minutes.
Sorry. Like I said, I was talking and I can't do two things at once. Economic Development Commission discussion. Mr. Clark.
Yeah, we just wanted to share with the board of selectmen the executive summary of the Wellington Economic Development Commission strategic plan. We presented this to the board, the Planning and Zoning Commission last month or the month before.
Last month.
And will be on the agenda for Board of Finance coming up.
That's scheduled for the 20th, right?
Yeah.
November 20th.
November 20th. So this is a very copious, long report. This executive summary is a few pages. We just wanted to hit a few highlights today, if it's okay.
Sure.
The strategic plan identified several different opportunities having to do and also developed forecasts for tax revenue for different development types, one of which was life sciences. And then also in manufacturing, hospitality, lodging, agriculture, and with mobility and distribution. And there's, I think, 3 of these, there are actually projections for tax revenue. It was quite a useful exercise. The key thing that, we wanted to get across was that we wanted to, share the path moving forward, what we're going to actually be doing on the Economic Development Commission. A couple of key things are, we want to partner with planning and zoning to review and update the zoning regulations, which is on our list. And we do proactive outreach to key partners, including UConn, state of Connecticut, some regionalized institutions, things like that. And then the last thing I wanted to share, Bill can chime in here as well, but we have here a list of actions that we want to try and take over the next year and a half. So Bill, did you want to chime in? If not, I can cover a few of these.
We've met with the planning and zoning. Obviously, we're meeting with the board of selectmen tonight. Plans are to be in front of the board of finance. I think Mike has scheduled us for a November 20th meeting. Things that we have on the timetable to get done in 25 or early 26 includes revisiting the strategic development zone regulations with the Planning and Zoning Commission. We're also going, this is on the timetable, also develop a list of agricultural and business properties in town. Going to conduct outreaches to talk to what I call business brokers who do this for a living. And they're the ones that are either approached by people who want to invest in development, or they're trying to create a following. And the reason we want to talk to them is to get an idea of how we change the perception of Wellington with regards to development, because right now, how can I say, the common theme, although it's not written in paper, is that we're not open for business. So we want to meet with these people who do this for a living to get an idea of how we change that perception. Part of that was some of the ordinances that we were talking about with regards to the taxes. That was something that we thought we could sell with regards to any change in the perception. So that's, although it's not a setback, I know it's being somewhat delayed. So that was, we were gonna try and get that all done in the spring, and in the fall and the winter of 25. And then finally, we're gonna try to meet some of the people who own land that is either commercially zoned or agriculturally zoned, to talk to them about what we're doing.
Get input on what's available, and the goal here is to have packages. To say to people, here's 3 or 4 different packages. Here's the land, here's what it's approved for, here's the process that you're gonna go through. And then they can look at this and they can say, oh, here's Wellington, here's 3, oh, you look at that, there's 3 parcels that meet our needs. and this is what it's zoned, and this is the process, and this is their form of government, and this is their form of approval process and stuff like that.
I understand that's
And then
been
this-
very helpful in California.
Yeah.
Where if they put a package together like that, then they don't have to fight 9,000 different levels of. Because they put out a letter saying, these are the steps you have to take, we're not gonna add extra steps later, and when you don't do that, then it's very helpful.
It's,
Well, 5% of the land in town now is zoned commercial. 95% is zoned residential. And when someone comes in, being a businessman, and I've done this up in Palmer, Massachusetts. Palmer had put together the Palmer Redevelopment Association to do exactly what we're trying to do here. And we've made up with constituents and people who are involved in town. And there was a farmer up there, his name was Tom Barrett. Tom Barrett owned this huge piece of land that he used to farm. And there was the railroad that is here in town, ran right through it. So an industrial park grew. And which my business was there. And there were a number of associated logistics distribution people. And Mr. Barrett was very involved with the Palmer Redevelopment Association. And I loved it because even when it was up and thriving, he would still walk his dog with his big sombrero hat and go through there, and he was just, my business grew from 40,000 square feet to 250,000 square feet from 1986 to 2003. And we were at the time the second largest taxpayer in town. And that's what I'm saying. This is something where that Palmer Redevelopment Association was the driving force. But it was real clear that when you signed up and took the risk, and my partner and I put a lot of money in the ground, we knew exactly what we had to do with the town and the town did for us. And the fire department worked with us, police worked with us. It was just a great development. That's what I'm saying. If you're looking for someone that wants to come in and partner with you and make an investment and take on the risk, it can't be based on the fact that 5 years down the road, there'll be a town meeting and things are gonna change. Because they're gonna walk. The timing is important because there's a need. The risk is important because there's money on the table. And what's good about it is the investor as well as the town make revenue. That's the point I wanted to get across. Matt and I have talked about this numerous times. And we want to talk to the brokers as part of our agenda to let them know that we're open for business. Under the description as we have in our mission statement, that's acceptable to the town. Sure.
I think it would be wise to also look at our plan of conservation and development. And look at that 95% that is residential, because. I'm
Kind
saying,
of like the default, I understand, where
well, right, and one of the first acts that planning and zoning has to do is change the zone. Now, that doesn't happen until the investor is fairly far along in the process. Like we often have, or we encourage non-binding talks with any business that wants to come to town. And invariably, they want to buy a piece of land and it's zoned residential or something.
Right.
And then the first act is, well, we're gonna have to change that. And that takes a public hearing and we have to go through a process. But they're not going to buy the land until they know that the town can do all those things. So it
if it's
is,
delayed too long,
if it's delayed too
the
long.
need goes
And
away.
so those things too, I've often played around with just the idea of conceptualizing what it would take. So one of the things I think about is, what if you had some sort of transportation center in West Wellington where Flat Pennies is? And even though we don't own the land on both sides of the tracks and it's all broken up, just as a concept, how much land would it need? What sort of infrastructure would be required if you had a break bulk facility, because they keep talking about light rail and possible of a passenger line going, through there. What would that take? We don't know. I mean, right now, you can't say, well, can't annex the land, there's no eminent domain. So thinking more broadly, if, to look at the, as you say, there's not only, you said, look at the commercial properties, but also look at these large areas that are now R8 that could very well be sold. In the next, I mean, there's several large plots of land where the landlords are absentee. And now we're in second, third, fourth generations of taxpayers that are likely to be sold in the next decade. So I think those are also opportunities to sort of expand that, to say, okay, gosh, we have 84, we have a rail line, so transportation is gonna kind of
together.
they're right, I mean, that's gonna be, that, or that could become an attractive thing. Our surrounding towns don't have.
That's
things. So anyway, that's my only thought is, as you look at, you said commercial properties, also look at residential properties that are in our areas within our plan of conservation and development.
I agree.
And just wargame it, you know, gee, what would it be like if we had a 200-acre transportation facility? Well, what would that mean? We probably need a well field and a large septic system like the truck stop have, you know, and that's gonna be more like, it'll be an interesting thing to do.
And as you mentioned before, I mean, having it drawn up so it's actually visual.
Kinda, yeah, just to say, yeah, we know that we don't own the land, and we know, but at least then we say, okay, first step is this, next step is that,
Right.
and who knows what can happen in the future. So,
Yeah, I'm just, the path, you know, because last comment. We have a lot of roadblocks or speed bumps, so to speak, with regards to making an investment in town associated with water, septic,
yeah,
and.
no public sewer or water is a problem.
That's depending on the application.
Sure.
All right,
Yeah,
an industrial park.
Yeah.
That would be an additional expense.
that was one of the problems, like the Dunkin' Donuts in that area, the water was the big problem, that's why so few businesses could get in there, because well fields were just inadequate. Couldn't even have a barber shop down there at one time.
Contaminated wells.
Yeah, there's something going on there, buffer zone with the river, there's a lot of constrictions,
Yeah.
and it makes it hard. Makes it
Not
challenging,
having public water, public sewage, septic, it's also.
cuts a lot of big stuff out.
Last point on the plan, with the way it was constructed, was understanding that it will require a huge amount of private investment,
Right,
and that, I mean, we need to have the road at least. We know the road that they can see,
yeah,
as opposed to, well, we'll let you know if it's gonna be permitted that way.
right.
Having done this, I'd say bye.
Mhm.
Just based on risk and need. My point, I'm sorry,
No, it's okay, it's okay. And the end result here, you know, it's no secret, I'm running for selectman. I've been now talking to people and it's pretty much, I mean, I have 2 or 3 people that say they don't want any development in town at all, nothing. Candle shops, coffee shop, bookstore, that's fine. Anything more than that, they're not in favor of. All the other people that I've talked to say that we need to have some kind of balance here between, you know, what the residents are paying in taxes and what we can get for commercial tax revenue as well. No one is saying that we want to have a return to 1,000,000 square foot mega warehouse in an inappropriate spot. However, some developments or a series of developments that help to diversify our tax base will be helpful in the long run for our residents.
Any further discussion? All right. Moving on to letter 9C, solar. Don, you want to talk to us about solar?
And good evening. I'd like to introduce Tim Sadler from Earthlight,
Tim.
Marco, Peter Tanaka, and Matt Clark. I got pictures, large pictures.
Bigger than the ones we saw last time.
Sure. Basically, what I guess I would consider the upper right portion of our site is, the solar array that we're proposing.
I'm a Yankee
Um,
Oh, right here, sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I am not being rude, but I'm a Yankee fan, so good luck.
Okay. You too, cause I'm
You
agnostic.
take counseling for that now.
Oh.
It's
I just blew my case. So,
Aye.
So we're proposing to add some solar to Button Hill and, most of it is located off of our lease area. Other than some of the buffer between the PV and the fence, the rest of it is on your land, just north of our leased area, so we're here for permission. To use that land and install solar.
Yeah, just so I can understand, where's the driveway here?
Okay, Senior Way coming off of Old
Oh, I
Park
see,
Road.
I got it, I didn't see the driveway.
The loop road around the senior housing and the solar array just to the north of senior housing.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I had hoped there might be some way we could locate the solar below the septic system. But after 24 calls to the supervisor, I got a call back when he said, no, you can't do that essentially, because you're gonna wait on the septic system and it wasn't designed for that. Aside from the fact that if something goes bad, we gotta move it all in order to fix the septic. So,
Right.
well, it wasn't ideal, but it was
Mhm.
in the back corner of the lot, for lack of a better term. So we're proposing it here with a fence around it, 7-foot fence. Chain link, that's my understanding of the National Electrical Code requirements. So we'd like your permission to place it there and use your land for it.
I think this needs to go to planning and zoning first.
Well, I did speak with.
I know you did speak, you have a
I see
meeting
you.
coming up with them. Yeah,
Well, I met last night. with
okay,
Andy was there.
Yes, I was.
And they essentially said that it was a staff decision as far as planning and zoning was concerned.
all right.
I was at that meeting, I remember that. So that would be Mike would make the decision, there's no vote necessary.
Right.
Okay,
So, I mean, it was hard to know what
I-
what action takes place first.
right, where the cart and the horse are, yes, that was kind of my question too, which is, I don't want to be out front of places I'm not supposed to be,
And I didn't wanna supersede
particularly
that.
since I'm here for another 40 days. And I want to make a decision that's gonna screw somebody else up.
But try to remember that fall under like an 8-34 where we would recommend it and then planning and zoning would approve it. I know you mentioned it outside the lease land, but that didn't really sink in last night.
Okay,
We were more concerned about whether or not we could do it for the regulations based on property lines, not so much the lease. It's interesting. Well, Mike's pretty wise. If he said that it's doable, then it probably is, but probably worth asking him again about the leased land part.
Where's our
lease line runs here for us.
Okay.
And just.
Oh, I see the lease line, it says lease line, that would be.
The solar area.
I can't read stuff that small.
So I put the glasses back on.
I was gonna highlight it in pink, but I wasn't sure what else I was gonna use these plans
And it
for.
really helps the colorblind guy
Right, because
here.
in some ways, towns are somewhat, they're not really exempt from planning and zoning, but
Right here?
they kind of are.
Just this little thing right here?
No, the whole.
No,
thing starts-
it'd be-
School in the middle of an RE.
All these squares, each one of these squares is a panel.
I got it.
Okay, now he was talking about the lease line.
Oh,
No, that's.
the lease line goes right up.
Cuts across here, so it's pretty tight to our
Yep.
facility.
Yeah,
And of course, Tim is here if you have any Earthlight related, like Green Bank
it's
related
just,
questions that
Yeah.
he can assist me in answering.
are there any federal changes as far as tax rebates, exemptions, whatever it is?
Yes,
Changing that's gonna cause a problem coming up soon? Or
there are changes in the federal investment tax credit. The 30% tax credit is going away next year. For commercial projects, you have until July 4, 2026 to purchase at least 5% of a project, and that will safe harbor that project until the end of 2030. And so we are pretty far along in this process where we will be able to safe harbor the federal tax credit in order to prevent any issues.
Okay,
Aside from that, really, there isn't any risk financially to Wellington Housing Authority in that the Connecticut Green Bank is the owner and operator of the system.
oh, okay, that was my next question, so thank you.
Yep, they're simply just paying them, they're utilizing this affordable multifamily program specifically that Eversource came up with, and so it benefits affordable multifamily only. If this was a regular commercial property, they wouldn't be able to do this exact plan. So basically, they're gonna get benefit that they're gonna be able to use for their
How
residents.
many megawatts is this thing?
It's 180 kW,
Oh, so it's like point, oh, point two?
point 0.18.
Yeah. I round off.
Yes,
I also
Too
have,
many digits, I start getting lost.
I also have a note from Lori, our executive director of the Coventry Housing Authority, our management company for Bucknell. She was unable to make it tonight because she's studying for her block development grant training exam. So she just had a brief little synopsis of what it is, which kind of wraps up what we would say about it. Then thank you for the opportunity to present our prospective plans to you. We're working with the Connecticut Green Bank and Earthlight Technology to install a bank of solar panels on the land adjacent to the garden activity area at Button Hill Senior Housing, this being the recreation area.
Button Hill is this whole section right here?
Yes, the
Alright.
yellow buildings. They aren't yellow here, but
That's recreation right there.
All right, yeah, no, I know where the building, I recognize this from going down to the senior center enough.
Yeah.
It's just that, the Access Senior Housing and the senior center and then Button Hill being three separate projects, it took me a good 2/3 of my time in office to figure out they were separate.
it's even tougher to
Nobody
figure out
tells
who owns that and
Yes.
doesn't, and then who regulates it and manages it and
Oh,
everything
So
else.
you're asking for permission to use this property, right?
Yes,
All right.
property that we don't use for, oh. So this is the town property line here, I'm guessing.
yes, and just Jessica's here,
Yeah,
I believe. Well, that's his used to own, his father used to own the lawn.
no, it's Amy Yancey that owns that now, I think.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, Dustin wasn't on it.
that's all right, one, okay.
I think that's Amy Yancey, where they had the big wedding last weekend.
There's no, I just have a question.
Yes, sir.
It's off, I'm sorry, it's off subject, but there's no time risk here. I mean, the maturities for the financing for this is your responsibility, right?
correct,
All right, they're leasing you the land for it, right?
correct.
There's no problem with the maturity of the contract for selling the power with the maturity for the lease agreement, right?
Correct,
They match up?
correct. Yeah.
Do we have enough infrastructure here to feed back into the line? Cause that doesn't seem like a whole lot of power that should overload the grid.
The current plan, it's not a ton of power, but the current plan is to tie into the three-phase transformer, which is located adjacent to the Willington Woods facility.
Okay,
So we're gonna trench that, the plan is to trench down
All right.
to that transformer.
all right,
Which is a hall, but
yeah,
I
There's a-
propose that
there's-
they can also consider going this way out to the road, but, my understanding with Eversource is you make one proposal, you don't make two. And so, yeah, they made a determination, that's the best proposal.
So any upgrades that are necessary are the responsibility of the Connecticut Green Bank and not of Wellington.
all right, I'm far more sold than I was walking in.
Okay,
So we don't need a vote, we need to talk to Mike and have Mike make the decision, that's how I understand it right now.
well, Mike can't make the decision until I make an application to the health department to install it. And the
Okay,
health department says there's no septic, there's no sewer, there's no danger to the
Beautiful,
wells or
right.
anything. And then,
Then I think it might come back to this table.
yeah,
For review, and then we'd say yes, and then they'd review it again. I think that's how that works.
yeah, I'm not even sure that the planning and zoning commission needs to say yes, it may be just him, but. I
That's a
don't
catch,
have
that's
any
a,
objection.
that's a, retention, sediment,
Oh,
retention. pond.
thank you.
Yeah.
It looked like some kind of pond, but with the elevation lines, but I wasn't sure.
And there's already essentially a dirt road that comes from here.
Here, yeah.
It's actually sketched out and
Yeah.
then stayed south of it, so as to not affect any access on that road.
Okay,
Correct, and it will be fenced, as Don mentioned.
Okay.
I wanna finish reading Lori's brief, description here. The system would be owned by Connecticut Green Bank, as we talked about, maintained by Earthlight. The tenants and the housing authority would be the recipient of the benefits. Green Bank makes the benefits too, it's their project, it's their money, so,
Mhm.
but that's all according.
Nobody does nothing for free.
There would be a one-time payment of approximately $230,000 to us to use to benefit our tenants. That's about $250,000. And there are several options we get to choose from, including but not limited to energy efficiency measures, energy storage, such as backup power, broadband internet access, EV charging stations, resident service coordinator, green space and community amenities and security enhancements. We don't have to do all of those, we may choose from some of them.
Yeah, I'm already looking at the high-speed internet, through the state for you guys.
Okay,
I've gotten to ask, you know, whether we get it or not.
well, we've got a pretty good deal right now of about
Yeah.
$45 a month per person that they pay for TV and internet. So,
Yeah. All right,
you know,
Is that limited, is the benefit limited to only those,
I think there was 11 items. Lori kind of broke it down to the, I guess, the primary ones.
is that by regulation or is that by?
That's by the residential renewable energy source, multifamily affordable housing, appendix G rules.
My
Of
goodness,
the, yeah,
okay, I got it.
and if you
Don't
can
worry
say
further.
that, good for you.
so,
Okay, thank you,
All right.
appreciate it.
and then in addition to the one-time payment to be used for tenant benefits, that $250,000 essentially. And there would be an annual benefit to the housing authority of about $1,700 a month, maybe more,
Per year,
for leasing the land. It's your land, but
1,700
per year, not all.
per year. Yes, thank you. I know I brought you for more than just one reason. It's a fantastic opportunity for us and continue keeping Button Hill Senior Housing sustainable for our elderly residents.
What's the term of the?
20-year term,
Right.
at which point in time, I think we can purchase it for the fair market value if we decide to continue on.
Or the-
But I don't know what they will pay us per kilowatt hour. It's probably something less than the 37 cents
Well,
they're paying
in
us now.
20 years, if I knew what was gonna happen in 20 years, I'd be a very wealthy man.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
there's two options, as Dan mentioned. They would have the option to buy the system at fair market value. Or the Green Bank will remove the system at no cost to the town.
That's nice.
Bill?
They,
For the storage, do you have like a battery bank or do you have something
No,
else?
no, sir, they are simply selling the energy to the grid.
Okay,
What they call a buy all, sell all agreement, which we just sell it all to them.
Okay.
And actually, that appendix G says that's our only option versus a netting and we're not gonna go into the
I
different.
gotta tell you, Don, this is much more clarifying than I understood it up till now, so. Thank you so much.
So I hope you give it some serious consideration. and
Yep.
Will allow us to move forward with
Yep.
gathering funds where we can.
Yeah, let me talk to Mike and then we need to make a decision. I wanna keep at least one of these out for the wall in my office. So.
If anybody
Yeah.
else wants one,
Can I just
that's
ask a
fine.
question?
Sure.
Can you kind of, for those of us who are here
You want to
listening
keep
for the
that
first
monkey
time,
man?
could you just kind of dumb it down? Are they getting, is Button Hill getting power up front from this?
No.
Or it's all feeding into the transformer?
It's all
And
feeding
they
into
get
the transformer, yeah.
that 200 grand or whatever it is to use in those ways dictated, that's their gift, right?
correct.
And then like under 2,000 a year.
Correct.
Otherwise, which is some kind of little premium.
It's just an annual payment, residual. Yeah,
What's the actual acreage of the fenced in area?
I'm sure out there.
Is it is it about one, less than one?
Really
less than one.
Yeah, I'm guessing a lot less than one.
Typically, I guess like we could do the math. Typically, a megawatt is 4 acres and this is 0.2 megawatts. So it would be around an acre or a little bit less than an acre. Probably around an acre if you include the fence, because
Alright.
set back from the edge of the.
Leasing your land at $2,000 an acre. A year. For $1,700 an acre or whatever the number was, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
I'm not maintaining.
it's a 1,700 at this point in time is the estimate. Cause the true cost of installing it's sort of a,
Yeah, that's kind of like the worst case scenario, so we're gonna try to.
Alright. Okay,
you wanna keep a copy and?
I
I don't need one personally, no.
Okay.
I just want a copy so that I can refer to what. Remove one of the other maps.
And I guess I would like permission just to go to the health department and
Sure.
make application and jump through that hoop along. And we're gonna,
Do we need a motion for that to allow, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
All three of us are in agreement, so even if we had a motion, it would be.
No application has been submitted
Yeah.
yet, this is all preliminary.
Yeah,
Non-binding talk right now.
all right,
and I have a special meeting with the housing authority board to allow me to make application to the health department.
There's a few more things to do.
Okay,
all right,
thank you.
thank you, Don.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Andy.
Hey,
And
Gonna go look at Bolton, well,
absolutely.
Okay.
You never did ask you, are you gonna need me?
didn't I meet you someplace at another function? 'Cause,
It could have been at maybe a cost event.
yeah, that could have been, because I remember talking to somebody for solar at, or CCM event, maybe.
Could be, yeah, we did go to the CCM in, was it, Hartford?
Yeah,
No, at the casino,
at the casino, that could have been where I ran in.
or at Black Bear, no, just kidding.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not saying no.
Yeah, we go to
Oh, yeah.
one of those events.
Yeah, that's where I ran into you, down at the casino.
Well, good meeting, gentlemen.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, ladies. Thanks, Tom.
Talked to CCM to move their conference to a little further away from the freaking election, so. We usually send the new first selection to that, and it's important. All right, moving on, what are my glasses like?
Can you stay a little later?
I'm sorry.
I haven't been made that. Jeez. Can you stay a little later? I just have two more questions.
Yeah, stay.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's fine. So I was approached by Joan Taraskowitz, who's been served on many boards in this town and is currently our tourism board representative. And she's very interested in the EDC and I guess has been attending meetings.
Yes,
And she asked if she could be appointed to the EDC, and I believe we have openings.
yes, we do have a minute.
All right, so
Have to work, Joan on board.
I'm glad to hear that, because that was my next question of you.
Yeah.
So I would like to move that we appoint Joan Taraskowitz to the Economic Development Commission.
I second that motion.
Any other further discussion?
No, welcome Joan to the economic development. She contributes very well.
Excellent.
Look forward to
Okay.
having you be a member of the board.
So all those in favor, say aye. Aye. That would be unanimous. And that brings us to old business, which is the school building committee. I've sent you, in your packet, I've sent a draft of an application and, we will be adding these to the minutes so people can see it. And I was wondering if you had any. How do I hit this so that I want to come in at 6 different directions at the same time? Which way do I go? So what it says is school building committee application, name, address, and then which of the following apply to you? And I think I need another sentence in there saying that these are points of interest which may apply to the committee. You are not required to have many or all of any of these to be appointed to the committee. But we would like to know this as part of the application. Whether you have construction budgeting experience, construction management experience, education experience, have children in the Wellington schools, have children eligible for the Wellington schools but are enrolled elsewhere, municipal budget experience, accounting or money management experience, whether you're a property owner in town, if you have any conflicts of interest, and do you understand this will require attending many meetings? And then what I would ask for is a brief explanation on why the applicant thinks that they'd be valuable to the discussion and ask why they're volunteering. And then under what to expect, I've put down up to several meetings a month, making decisions on which project is best for the town to ensure educational requirements, to find a solution that will pass referendum, and essentially balancing taxpayer expectations with project scope, and to complete the project within the guidelines and timetable provided by legislation. This is, last time, I don't believe we were under time constraints. This time I believe we are. So that's why I'm moving forward on this. And then what I'd like to do tonight is, appoint a committee to select the committee. And, so let me do this first. Do you have any additions, subtractions?
Yeah, we could.
Recommendations?
It was put together that you have children in the Wellington schools, have children eligible for Wellington schools, but not enrolled, but enrolled
Right.
elsewhere. I mean, we could just say to have school age children. I mean, we don't have.
All right,
If you're
Well-
Wellington, if you're not Wellington.
yeah,
Then under conflicts of interest, or potential conflicts of interest, it's,
yeah,
they don't need to determine if it's true or not, just do you have the
Right.
potential? So that's all I had for this, I think.
all right.
Must they be a resident of Wellington?
I don't believe under the rules of building committees, they must be a resident.
Yeah.
There is a requirement that one of the members have building experience. And last time, if I remember correctly, and I often don't, that person was pulled from out of town. This time they'll be working with the consultant that they've been working, the Board of Education has been working with on various choices. I think a lot of the groundwork was set by the Board of Ed and by the previous committee. Which is why I have, in discussion with the superintendent, we were discussing whether we needed a town meeting to set the board up first. We have 3 requirements from the state on resolutions that need to be passed by town meeting. But I think we need to move forward on this, and then before we spend any serious money, that's when we have to go to the resolutions. Because you can't recover any money spent before the resolutions are passed.
I seem to remember.
But I think we've spent a lot of that money already. On the last 4. So what I want to do is, because of time constraints and the need to move forward, is to put out this application as soon as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, so I guess motion 1. Timeout. Anybody have any comments?
Well, we certainly do. Do you wanna go to people online first?
Yeah,
I
I don't see any hands raised online, so let's start in the room.
Okay, I do, Michelle Cunningham, 41 Lister Road. I do think that you should ask if they have children in the Wellington schools or who will attend the Wellington schools. So like if you have a 4-year-old who's gonna be in. But I think if you have someone who's choosing to send their kids to parochial school in Manchester and have chosen to reject the Wellington school system, I don't think that's something you gives them any extra saying whether or not they should be on the, so should be Wellington schools or will be Wellington schools is number 1.
All right,
I do think that it's important if you ask if they live in Wellington.
Yeah.
Not that it be a disqualifier if they don't, but you should ask that question. Or you could just say town of residence, and then if they put another.
yeah, the address is on here.
Sometimes your mailing address doesn't match your where your house is located. There's a handful of houses in town for which that is true. Yeah.
All right,
The other is, I think you need to be really explicit about the number of meetings, probably a minimum of weekly meetings for a minimum of 36 months or something really clear.
I think we have to get this whole thing done in like 18 months.
We have to get the application in, preferably in 9 months, but how long will the building committee continue to meet?
Mhm.
You know, I think you need to be really clear, because if we only have, you know, if we don't have a big enough committee. And you have, you know, a couple of people out each time, we're not gonna make the deadlines, you won't have enough people.
Yeah,
So, I would recommend either a larger committee than you had mentioned the last time I was here. To account for that in case, you know, if the flu go through or whatnot, or things happen and snow and whatnot. But I think that I'm afraid that people are going to be, oh, yes, I want a seat at the table, I would be good at that. But who are not gonna be able to give up their other commitments to come to long meetings
Mhm.
weekly for the next 9 months, at least.
okay.
Just.
May I just comment on one of those things is,
Yeah.
the reason I put the children eligible for Wellington schools, put her in schools elsewhere. I want those people that think that they can improve the schools enough to bring their children back to have a word.
Usually that's not about the building.
Yes.
I
But
don't think you're
a lot of what I heard before
Mhm.
was the building is instrumental to the level of education.
It absolutely is a part of that.
So
100%.
that's why,
So
yeah.
so your original question of keeping them separate, I think would be valuable then.
Okay.
I have a comment on process, but you're not there yet, you have a comment.
We're not on process yet, no.
Steph Summers, 4Y Road. I just wondered, you know, the list of things that it would be good to know if they had those skill sets. Is that list, I mean, it seems to me to be it's either financial or construction focus. Is there, yeah.
There, it is,
What's the one about education?
do you have any education experience?
What, oh, you mean like going to school or?
No, like teaching,
That's not.
administrative. I mean,
Okay,
we live in a community that's
no,
close
no,
enough
I
to the
just didn't know how
university
you put it.
that I don't wanna limit it to grade school teachers, I want college professors as well, people that
No,
know
it's
about
a
learning.
rich community.
It is a rich community.
And especially because you have the questions underneath that say, describe what you think you would bring to the committee,
Right,
or something like that's where
right.
they can say,
Yes,
you know, what that education
Right.
experience is. Yeah.
The previous SBC met, I mean, when they were really geared up, didn't they meet weekly on Wednesdays? Or was it every other week or
Every other
something?
week.
But it was
Right.
much longer term.
yeah. All right,
Is there a place for other comments?
yes, that's why
The end.
I'm asking for at least a couple sentences on why you wanna serve on this thing. Sell yourself to the people. It's like a job application. We want to know about you.
Actually, really.
It's kind of what I was trying for here, but,
Curriculum vitae, something, a CV, whatever you want to call it.
That might be a disincentive for someone who's just a parent.
It could be, but even that, I mean, parenting is a pretty good curriculum, so
I'm just saying,
Exactly.
it might be a disincentive, you might wanna put a wording in there, you know,
something, yeah. Well,
optional, something that
Yeah,
makes parents feel comfortable that that is adequate.
I cringe a little bit about excluding anyone, because you never know where the good ideas are gonna come from.
all right,
No, especially if he says, there's language at the top that would say,
yeah,
we may consider it.
yeah, yeah, and, John? Yeah,
Well, he's unraised, whatever.
you wanna, John, are you still there?
Oh.
He is gone.
With who?
Yeah, is that Mike or Jen?
Sorry, was I muted?
Yes,
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to say, Peter, you were saying 18 months. It's my understanding we have to have a referendum finished by June 30th of next year. That's just 9 months away.
yeah, yeah, we need to be moving quickly, that was kind of my
Okay.
point, the exact number of months is.
And I think
Not
the
as
building
important
committee, the building committee stays through construction.
Correct.
I think so,
So it's a,
Yeah,
yeah,
Jen or Mike?
Hi, Mike McCoo, Clover Springs. I've thought about this a lot. We wrestled with this on the last building committee, how big to make the committee. Larger committees get slowed down with a lot of debate. Of course, there's valuable information in those debates and all the opinions matter, but I'm not sure what the magic number is. I would suggest a little bit of thought about committee size would also include a thought about if there should be alternate members on the committee who can participate in conversation, but maybe that would allow us to keep the quorum requirement to a lower number. And that way, if you lose a few people, your quorum requirement is low, and you also have the ability to plug alternates in for the people you lose, either because they've left the committee or they're not available on a certain day, especially if it's going to be some weeks you meet multiple times in a week. Maybe using some alternates would give some flexibility. Just a thought.
Thank you.
I agree about that.
I do too.
Yeah, what is the right number though?
I think alternate, well,
We were discussing 7 and what.
What's our, where's on the application?
I
I don't wanna
yes,
digress.
well, the application, this is, number of people on the committee, I think is important to the application. So,
Right. I would like, I do think that,
I mean, listening to my father's advice was the only committee that works is 3, where one's sick and one's absent. He believed in very small committees of 1 were his happy place, but I think 7 with three alternates would be a good place to start. To be nimble, to be fast, and I think that the larger the committee, the slower it moves.
yeah, I think 7, if we can't do 5, then 7.
Mhm.
And it's a great idea of all alternates, I agree completely. To me, it's not so much do you want 1-person committees, it's that they have clear goals. And we should set the goals. In terms of timing, process, what we want them to do. And what should guide them.
Mhm. That's the charge of the committee is a very difficult thing, and I think that we should be working with the Board of Ed to make sure that it's gonna be their building, so we need to make sure that it meets their requirements as well as our requirements.
And they need to make sure that it meets our requirements.
As well as their requirements, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a given in that statement. That's why this line here balancing it. So I guess, given time constraints, this is a fairly close rough draft. If I'd like a motion to authorize myself to clean this up and put it out as soon as possible through our with the website and Facebook, et cetera, so that we can start gathering people interested in it.
When are we gonna have, when do you plan on doing the chart? I don't think it's appropriate to, I mean, it'd be very much helpful to people deciding whether or not to volunteer.
I would think sometime next month.
If we would have a chart for them to evaluate before, deciding whether or not to join the committee or not. It sounds like that's not gonna happen. You're gonna have the committee before the chart, is that right?
I wanna start gathering applications, because that's a process that takes time. So just putting it out to the community and letting them know that this is something available, and then we can start getting the hard copy on where to move. I'm trying to get the timing right, so that you get people, you give them a project, set them down the road, and then I can go home.
Okay. So, I'll make a motion, that we move forward with this as amended and suggested by the Board of Selectmen.
Okay,
I think that we should change that one line about education experience to. You have experience in formal education, teaching, and just expand on all
All
of
right.
it, because it doesn't really say what it's meant to say.
I will
Expand on
I
that.
will send you an email prior to publication. All right. So, that out of the way. Um, what I would like now is a motion to form a committee to select the committee. I am sincerely hoping that we have many more applicants than we have positions.
That'd be
I
great.
like to hear from a lot of people to expand our base, get what we need. The problem with the town of Willington is we come we come hat in hand asking for your time and effort over and over again. And we rarely compensate. So, other than fulfilling your duty to the town and that kind of thing, so, I would like to, suggest that we form a committee of, two members of the, Board of Selectmen, one from each party, and the Public Works Director for his experience in building and construction. To choose this committee, that these people would obviously be ineligible to serve on the committee. So. Do I hear a second?
I'll say.
Oh, second, but yeah, well, yeah, all right, been made and seconded,
All right,
and discussion.
discussion.
Thinking about the stakeholders. I'm not sure, I mean, I understand the public works director. I'm not sure, is the public works director a stakeholder? In the outcome, but I mean, I think that kind of, I'm thinking, like you said, this is a job.
Right.
You're applying for a job to a company. The people that are hiring you are stakeholders in that company, so they're interested in hiring the best staff, where. I'm not saying Troy wouldn't be an asset, I'm just sort of curious. Thinking about who are the major stakeholders.
I think that, well, this is just my personal opinion, is that the stakeholder question is more important to the members of the building committee than it is to the members of the committee that are choosing the building commission. What we want to do is the level of expertise is what I'm looking for, and the buy-in from the community on the final makeup of the committee is
That's fair.
more important than
So we're looking,
stakeholder in the final outcome of the project.
so we're looking more for skill sets, characteristics.
Yes,
Which are maybe somewhat more
We're looking-
pure than the,
right.
yeah, just
Yeah,
sort of a, okay,
that's my understanding.
all right.
Any further discussion?
And this would convene fairly quickly, right?
Yeah, well, after we start getting some applications,
Okay,
all right?
and you know, just thinking that with two BOS, that makeup could change come November 4th. So.
Yes. Well, that's why I worded it the way I did.
Yeah.
A member of the
A member.
parties from the Board of Selectmen.
All right. And just 3 is enough?
I think 3's enough. Every hiring board I've ever been on, if you have more than 3 people sitting there staring at the applicant,
It is kind of
it
intimidating.
gets way intimidating.
I'm a little confused. Are we talking about appointing members of this committee tonight?
No, appointing members of the committee to choose the committee.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
So we'll do that tonight, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the motion on the table.
Okay.
So in this case, it would be you two
And Troy.
and Troy.
Yeah.
Because there's some possibility that, I would think a good possibility that you two might be here in 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8
Hard to
weeks.
say.
One of us.
Or
One of
at
us.
least one of you is gonna be here.
Maybe.
Absolutely, like statistically, one of you's gotta be here.
It seems a little light, right? It seems a little light. I don't know, it
All right.
seems,
It's a hiring board, so I think 3 is probably sufficient for that. I think the last time it was 1.
Yeah, it was. And I think isn't this the process that Tammy used?
Yes, this is a not inventing the wheel process.
yeah, tell me about that, I remember, that's right, we touched on
We
that.
touched on that because the town of Talent had a school with a crumbling foundation and had to do theirs very quickly. And this is they've got a much larger board, so that's the way they did it was today. They have a town council. Whole bunch of,
Yeah, right, they have a town council, so it's slightly different form.
yeah,
Right.
all right. So. Closing discussion. All those in favor?
John?
Aye. What?
I said I had a question about
Oh,
process, I raised my
sorry.
hand, looked at me.
Sorry,
Alert you.
an hour and a half, I started losing my attention.
I'll talk fast. Michelle Cunningham, Lister Road. I had mentioned the last time I was here at this meeting a few weeks back that the committee, to select the committee, should have broad representation from the community.
Mhm.
At the moment, all of you are men, don't have any women on the committee. While I agree that Troy's experience would be useful at the table for advice, I don't think he should be at the table making the decision as an employee of the town. I will volunteer myself to sit on this committee, since I'm not gonna sit on the school building committee, to be part of your 3-person committee, so you have broader representation.
I don't wanna lose my building expertise,
I'm
that's what I'm
saying he
thinking.
could be at the table, I
All right.
welcome him at the table, I don't think he should vote. He works for the town.
I think that it'd be, we've talked about this many, many times. It works very well in the neighboring town of Townsend. It's nonpartisan, you have one Republican, one Democrat, one neutral arbiter who has construction experience. I like it, I think it's great. So,
Okay.
it's my opinion.
I still think it's a little narrow in scope, I wouldn't mind having another person on it, but hey,
All right,
that's just
Well-
my opinion.
I mean, does it make sense to have,
just give me a second to think,
Okay.
because I need some.
sorry,
My
Well,
brain
most of
doesn't-
them made a sense, you know, this, we discussed it. The process is going through them both.
It's called a question.
Let's just call the question. All those in favor? Aye,
I'm opposed.
all right. Well, there's our 4, sorry, Michelle.
I didn't say I wanted it, I was offering myself.
I'm not sure I would,
I was
I'm not
thinking-
sure I would even offer
I was
myself.
thinking for a school building committee, it might make sense to think of the Board of Ed chair or someone like
Right.
that.
Well,
No,
it's still gonna
that's-
have
So that's all, you know.
It's still gonna have 2 members of the Board of Selectmen, it will
Right.
have to be noticed and open to the public.
Yeah.
So women can come and tell you
Yes.
what we think of your decision.
I have no doubt that you will.
Thank you.
All right, so let me clean this up and I will
On its face,
make sure that I didn't
Not-
forward it to you to make sure I didn't screw it
Coverage
up.
idea.
So we're closing that, we're on to good and welfare.
I have something I'd like to say for good and welfare, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
First one is I encourage everyone to sign up for the email alerts that come from the town website. I think it's very important. Whatever bridge comes up, that is a text to your phone. Not everyone likes to get emails on their phone, but I'd say most people have some type of smartphone. And texting isn't nearly as costly as it used to be. So sign up for those things that are important to you through Everbridge and through the town website, because that is a great way to get information. And the second thing I'd like to talk about is, I thought the town meeting the other day went quite well. I enjoyed the conversation, thought people were engaged and having, you know, good arguments for what they believed in. One of the things that struck me though, there's no requirement, and it would almost be sort of ridiculous to assume that every question or motion could be decided in one night. State statutes absolutely allow for a town meeting to be adjourned and continued at a later date through a 2/3 majority. Furthermore, each amendment or question can be amended during the meeting with a 2/3 majority. For example, if the only contentious thing was that you didn't like that part, that second part where the selectmen had sold, and that was the only thing holding it up, we could have amended it that night and changed the wording and agreed on that and voted on it. It isn't like we have to just kill it and then somehow resuscitate it at a later date. We somehow treat these special town meetings as some to me, they seem to be like they're sacrosanct and we can't treat them like any other
I think it's
commission
been
meeting.
traditional, that's the way they've
It is,
been held, and
I know, but I found it interesting. We should have a public hearing first and then a town meeting.
Yeah.
The town meeting is the public hearing. That is where you get to talk about the questions and the motions before it. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, how you could have a public hearing. And if a lot of people didn't show up, they still say, how come I didn't hear about it? So
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that is, I've gone through multiple public hearings in planning and zoning, and sometimes we have no one there. And then we make a motion, we decide to do it, we go through, we have 35 days, 65 days, very prescribed. Change a reg, and then people say, how come no one told me about this? So I think that town meetings could be a little more fun. And I am, if we, I do, and I also think that we could probably, I would recommend that for the next administration or whatever, that we would have quarterly meetings. And just, we could file them January 31st, we'd still have to do our warnings, but the agenda simply could be talk of the town. And have it in conjunction with one of our Board of Selectmen meeting. So we wouldn't have present to speak in our Board of Selectmen meeting, we just move into a town meeting. And maybe we could have coffee, maybe we could get donuts or something, and make it into some sort of a town event.
Yep.
And I don't know, just a thought, and we keep talking about transparency, improving communication. And the last thing, Ashford, I learned this last night. Ashford does send out a mailing, they spend somewhere around $10,000 a year.
I'm all
They
in
do
favor,
mailings.
I'm all in favor of that.
And I think that that is something that we should probably try to work into the budget as much as we possibly.
I believe it's in our budget.
But it's not
The
cheap.
problem is writing it and publishing it and mailing it and doing all that.
I
and
understand that.
that is traditionally been the purview of the assistant recreation director, which we don't have.
Well, we did interview some,
But I
but
know I think we hired one.
I don't know. I was gonna find out about that, but yes,
It's in the budget.
It was in the budget.
and,
So I was, yeah, I'll mention that.
and for that mailing, then you would have a requirement that the chairman of every commission has to send in whether it's a monthly, this is what's going on. Here's what motions were made, here's, well, whatever. I mean, I think it could be done.
Yeah.
I heard monthly, I think I heard Ashford does it.
Yeah,
Quarterly wouldn't be $10,000.
yeah, I think Ashford does theirs monthly and I think we use the doors quarterly.
Yeah, okay, then maybe we should do it more frequently.
All right.
All right, that's it, I have, thank you.
I forgot what I was gonna say in the second thought. Oh, I did remember. We have signed a letter of intent to hire with a new assistant recreation director who is looking to get into the recreation director business. He is currently the director of the ropes place out there in Mansfield off of 195. He's the manager of that, and I think he's gonna be doing this part-time and that full-time, and I think he's young and full of energy, which is something yeah, it's past me. The second thing I'd like to say under good and welfare is that at our last meeting, we recognized a number of townspeople that have contributed significantly to the town. And I would like to see that continued in the future. And I'm willing to work with the next administration on getting those printed. And figuring out how to do that. I've got a good relationship with a printer in Willimantic that has been doing the actual certificates for us for my favorite reasonable price. Great, yes. So, having gone through good and welfare, we're back to present to speak. Is there anybody that would like to say anything? Let's start out online because we've heard from the people in the room. Seeing nothing online, anybody in the room have any additional? Go ahead.
Two quick things. One is I signed up for Everbridge while I was sitting here. It was quick and easy.
Oh.
There are 5 options
Yeah.
and it all worked, so
Excellent.
And you use that phone number?
I use that phone number.
Yeah, I did it too, and
888-777.
I had to go back 3 times, but maybe that's because I'm not.
You gotta go spell Wellington.
Yeah, I had to spell Willington correctly, yes. John, Keehan.
Hey, guys, Andy, I'm concerned about what you were saying about town meeting being able to table, amendments, or, I'm sorry, items on the warrant. When I looked that up, that's not what I found. I found
No,
that
I saw it, John, that a meeting can be adjourned to a later time and date if a 2/3 majority agree.
Well,
So.
the problem.
I'd be interested to know the statute on that. That's all, because, you know, I want to be sure that we do things right.
Chapter 20 is what I saw.
Okay, I'll take a look.
I think it's chapter 20.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, please correct me.
Okay,
Let's
we'll
take
do.
it on that. I think, Steph Summers, Fort White Road. I just wanted to say on that point, because I'm real interested in that too, Andy. I think the whole process of noticing a meeting and going through legal notices for a town meeting and that long process that we find semi-annoying, but also crucial to doing this right, is so that the public knows what is going to be voted on, what's proposed exactly. You go to town meeting and that's not a time to edit it. So that's why public meetings, which we do for the budget every year, we have the budget public hearing 2 weeks before we have the annual town meeting where we present it. I'm sorry, the annual town meetings first, but then when we go to pass the budget, it's 2 weeks later. So I think it's important for that notice to sync up with what the vote, with what the people are voting on. And if you depart from that, you're really kind of pushing it in another town meeting setup where you need to put in what is changing and for instance, are they making it 20 years instead of a 30-year clock on the stabilization program or something like that. So I really think it's kind of fragile ground to say, have the hearing and the meeting that, on that issue. There should be some of that, especially for a complicated issue, there's gotta be some public education before you go to town meeting, I think. If we got it.
I think it's gonna be the same 40 people in the room, no matter what.
Well,
So
I don't know,
what
sometimes
difference
it's
does it
bigger
make?
and sometimes,
We have 43.
I'm just saying, and it was really an unclear thing because it was so policy driven in the text and as you guys
Yeah,
know.
like I said, I think the process works fine, but just as a point, if there was only one thing in a very large motion that needed to be changed. To go and say, okay, now we gotta spend another $1,000 to make that one change, that doesn't seem like a good use of.
Yeah, but it
town
didn't sound
funds
like
or-
one change. It
Well,
sounded
I'm
like
not-
a
all
lot
right,
of things.
Just
Yeah.
say, if.
Yeah.
That is an option,
Mhm.
that not everything just has to be decided in one night. I think any large, even the budget, to think that we have to decide to send it to referendum that night, maybe it takes 2 nights. Maybe it takes a couple of nights.
It takes.
How many
a whole-
budget
It takes
meetings-
several months.
How many budget meetings were held? And then people still said at the town meeting, I've never heard of these things before. It's like, you can only do so much, so let's use the town meeting. If people are standing up that night and saying, this is the first I've heard of it, well, the onus is partly on them, but now the onus is on all of us to explain it to everyone. And why not use that forum? I don't think it's a bad thing. Democracy's messy. It's okay.
I love the idea of the quarterly talk of the town meetings with donuts and coffee to talk about things ahead of time
That's a
because
good idea.
people might bring in some good ideas.
But I might not be sitting here 5 weeks, so man, make a difference at all.
Okay,
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second. All those in favor? Aye. We are good at anything, it's,